Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics. Okay, let's just recap what we've done in the last video. We got the engine transmission out of the 2001 Silverado. We got it in here, kinda, sorta. Okay, the way I'm doing it is I'm not relying on a whole bunch of information from a whole bunch of different people on what I need, what they think I need. I'm just gonna go and find out for myself what fits, what I should need, all that stuff. And we already found out that we don't need an oil pan. Countless people, all you need an oil pan, aftermarket. Okay, so last video we kind of got it in here. Wasn't easy with the transmission. You could do it putting them in separate, engine and then the transmission, but I found a way, and I jacked up the body, took the body mounts off. You can see here I kind of stuck this here as a brace. Here's where the body mount goes, so it's about, I don't know, 6 inches up. Did that on both sides because the transmission was hitting a hump in the firewall, so you could not get it in and past the engine cradle frame. Couldn't get it past there no matter what, so I had to jack the body up. Got it in there to see if the oil pan fits. Now it fits, but you can see at this angle, you can see how far the oil pan sits below the cross member right here. That could be a problem. And the steering here, it's got some wires in the way, but you can see this oil pan, it's about from here to here, and the end of the tie rod or the nipple is supposed to hit each side. And this ain't perfectly level in the middle yet. I haven't got it mounted up. I had it jacked up. I got jacks and crap all over the place here, but I got it holding up the transmission. But I jacked it up here, turned the wheels, and it looks like these tie rods will go right to the edge of the oil pan without hitting as it turns all the way. Because a bunch of people had said that you won't get the full steering. If you try to steer all the way, it's going to just hit the oil pan. But the one video I watched was for a 6.0, so maybe a 5.3 oil pan is smaller. I don't know. Now, what the aftermarket oil pan is it's really skinny up top here, really skinny, and of course it's about half. It keeps the oil pan from going that low. Okay, but as it is right now, it'll work, even though it's not mounted in there yet. And why it isn't mounted in is because we talked a lot about this the last video, the engine mount adapters. This is where the original motor mounts, these four, I just kind of got them sitting in there. The adapter, they're going to be in tomorrow, so we'll get to that here in a little while in this video. They mount here, and then it moves over for the three hole mounted ones for a Chevelle, and then it mounts into this factory. I got this just loose here, the factory frame mount. So it goes in like that, and you put a bolt in it. This side might be a problem because the air compressor is right in the way. We may have to remount this over here, but there's room on the driver's side, so I got all this stuff in the way here. Here's the driver's side here, 4 mounts. The only thing in the way is the ground wire. We can move that. This was an empty spot here I got for the chain hoist. So this, you can see where this mount is here. It's going to move the 3 mount right over in here and go down. So that, and this is just loose still, see? So when they come in, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put on the driver's side. I'm going to put these, I may put these 3 bolts in here and tighten all that down because we know that's going to stay there. And then mount that. Oh, to get it in here also, you have to take off the exhaust manifolds, because the that's the other problem we ran into. These ends here will hit the frame, hit the AC box. It's just a real pain in the ass, so it's best to take them off. It wasn't that difficult. Thought about getting headers. I don't know yet. See these, see how this one has a donut? Then this one has a different type of mount. So I'm looking on eBay. I can find a set short headers for $100. Actually like 96 bucks. And they look like the same on each side. And they didn't have the collector. Usually you buy headers, you have the collector that bolts on. They didn't have them. And then one set didn't have this for the EGR. So I don't know, I might still look. This for the EGR here. I'm not sure what if I should delete all that or if it's going to screw up the computer or what. I figure I'd just leave it connected, and if the headers has a thing for it, just connect it up. So I'm not sure on the headers or if I'm going to put them back in. But once the motor mounts are in, then we're going to put we're going to see if these exhaust manifolds fit without hitting the frame here. The one guy with the 6.0 said it's about 1/8 of an inch from that frame. But we're going to find out. I don't know the difference between 5.3 and 6.0, whether there's different manifolds, oil pans, all that stuff. I haven't bothered looking it up. I'm looking up too much other stuff to be going down rabbit holes. Okay, so that's the plan tomorrow, is get them mounts on there. What the plan was to, because this plate, there's 4 positions to mount the motor mounts. So you could, I don't know how much of a difference, probably a couple inches go forwards or backwards. If you can see down there in the old pan, it's got quite a bit of distance there before it hits that cross member. So it can go forward or it can go backwards, but you can't go backwards too far because the transmission, you know, gradually goes up, and you don't want the firewall to hit when I let it back down. But the plan was to mount it where the drive shaft would fit, but that's our biggest problem so far. Is I got the drive shaft in the transmission right there, and then look how much longer it is back there. It's about a foot longer. So this original this is a cross member out of a '69 Chevelle that a few people said wouldn't fit a wagon. Well, it does fit perfectly. Okay, and you can see here, this is where I mounted it to, right in the middle. I'd have to measure, but I would think you could mount it here to here, probably here, or here to here. You mount it way forward, way backwards. GM did this for different transmissions, you know, power glides and 4 speeds and all that stuff. So this can move, and even if it didn't, you just drill holes. So with the 4-position motor mounts and this, you could move the engine transmission back and forth however far you wanted without hitting the cross member up there. So that was the plan, but now, since the drive shaft is too long and it's got to be cut, we're just finding a nice medium to mount this in there. That's why I just went right in the middle. Went right in the middle here. These 2 bolts, we used the old style transmission mount that fit on the 2001 truck transmission. I just kind of got them 2 bolts snugged up there. So that's kind of where the transmission is going to be, and with the motor. Now if I decided I have to move the motor forward because the compressor's in the way, then I'll have to move these forward. So I'll have to move these, you know. Oh yeah, maybe that one. See that one and that one, maybe. So I can move it down a couple inches, which will move the engine a couple inches, which will clear the oil pan still from hitting the cross member, and won't have a problem with the AC. If not, we'll move that mount back. We'll take this mount here and move it over here and drill some holes and weld it. But I think we'll just go ahead and go forward with the whole thing. And that way we have more clearance on the firewall when I drop this thing down 6 inches. We don't want it to hit the transmission. Okay, now as far as the pulleys, to me it looks like it clears everything. As long as it's, I don't know, we got it about 2 inches before the oil pan hits the cross member. We got about 2 inches here. So nothing hits. So all them people, oh, you need a pulley relocation kit, and you need to move this up, and the power steering up, and to take off the ace. No, it looks like everything's gonna work. Okay, that's the problem. There's so many different cars. Like this A body has the steering box here, and some GM cars have the steering box way up here. So, you know, and then of course the Novas and Camaros are the subframe. This is full-size frame. So that's why we're doing it. That's why I didn't want to order a whole bunch of parts and try to do it in one weekend, have all the parts sitting here, because then I'd be either stuck with them or have to return them. So we're kind of getting what we need as we need it. Okay, that's how we're doing it. I'm 99% sure we don't need a harness. So many people, oh, you're gonna need the harness, you're gonna need a Holley harness, blah 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 blah. No, I've watched enough videos. You can get it running with this fuse block in here with 3 wires, but of course nothing will work. No gauges, no transmission, no nothing. That's why I took all this crap off the truck. We're gonna try to get it so we can get the transmission working, get the just factory truck gauges working, all that stuff with all this stuff. Okay, so that's going to be later on. Once everything's mounted in there, then we'll go with the electronics and hook that up and see if we can get it running. And then after that, it's going to be some problem stuff like the fuel pump. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get a standalone fuel pump, run another line back there for the return. But let's just get all this mounted in where it's supposed to be, where it looks good, where nothing's hitting, nothing's rubbing, and everything. And somebody said, oh, the truck intake's too tall, it's gonna, you know, your hood ain't gonna fit. Well, if you look here, it's way below here, way below the firewall. A regular hood's gonna fit. Oh, one other thing on the oil pan. The one guy I watched with the oil pan, he bought an aftermarket oil pan. That's how I seen that it's really skinny up front and a lot lower in the back. Even though he was sponsored by Holley, I guess Holley didn't give him a oil pan. So I saved a link for it. He said it was the cheapest one and it was identical to the Holley. And come to find out, it's made in the same factory in China. Holley has all the shit made in China. It's the same oil pan made in the same factory as Holley's, and it's identical. That's how, you know, the Chinese, they don't give a shit about trademarks or copyrights or any of that shit. So Holley goes there to China and makes their oil pan, and then they just copy it and make their own and sell it. So the aftermarket, or the cheaper one, off-brand name, was $100 cheaper than the Holley. So you're paying $100 just for the Holley name. So it was 265 bucks, but then at the bottom it said plus 20 to ship, so it was actually 285. Then you had to buy, they give you the part numbers, you had to buy the GM dipstick and dipstick tube. So who knows what that'll cost through GM. But it's going to be well over 300 bucks. Okay, so I just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so don't be and it has the same part number as a Holley oil pan. So because he says, well, if you want to look it up, here's the link for it on eBay, but all you do is you take the Holley part number for their oil pan and put it in eBay, and then all these aftermarket ones come up. That's how the Chinese operate. But anyway, it looked like a nice oil pan, and yeah, if you got the money, if you got a money tree in your backyard and you just want to blow money, go ahead and buy one. It looks nice and everything else. Just a few little tricks. It's got a relocation tube, and you better get that just right with the right O-ring for the oil pickup. And there was a bunch of comments that they didn't put it in right and do it in the right procedure, and lost oil pressure and blew all their bearings. That's one reason I don't like to take these engines apart if they're running good. Why take it apart and screw around and end up putting in the wrong O-ring and blowing your bearings? I mean, it's just... Okay, so that oil pan, even if I raise the engine up, it's going to be a lot lower. Okay, so as long as you're not jumping curbs or you know, running over 100 miles an hour over speed bumps, it should be okay. Now I might build some type of skid plate, get some really heavy iron and weld it from here and slope it down or something. I don't know, something like that. Or I could just leave it. And this is like that cast aluminum or whatever it is. It's not thin metal or nothing. But yeah, if you hit something hard, it's just gonna bust. It more cracks and stuff than gets crushed like metal would. So yeah, if you hit something in the road, and then of course if you do, then you're gonna say, damn, maybe I should have bought that Holley oil pan. So anyway, I'm gonna go in the morning, and of course we're gonna change all the fluids. So I'm gonna go, I buy my stuff at Walmart, the fluids. So I'm gonna get some transmission fluid. I don't think they sell filters and gasket sets. And the oil. So I'm gonna buy transmission fluid and oil, possibly an oil filter at Walmart, and then go to AutoZone, get the filter and gasket. So we're gonna change them over. And then by the time, and I got a bunch of errands to do in the morning. Then after that, the mail should come. We'll put on the motor mount brackets, see if the exhaust manifolds fit, and it'll be mounted in there. Tighten up all the bolts, have the motor mounts, transmission mount, everything all done, and then we'll go from there. But 70% chance of rain tomorrow, so it's going to be iffy. 30% chance of rain every day after that. I have a new tarp thing around. Oh, I know where it is. It's in the back of this Jeep. I'm gonna put up a tarp over here so we can fold it up when we're working on it, and then fold it down when it starts raining or at night. Okay, so because it rained last night, and I didn't think much of it, but then I thought, oh shit, I had them exhaust manifolds off. I didn't want water to get in there, start rusting the valves and stuff. So we're going to keep it covered up best we can. Cats will probably get at it and tear it up. Okay, so that's the plan. So I will be back tomorrow. Next clip, a few seconds for you guys. And we'll get it permanently mounted in there, just like factory. Okay, we'll see ya. Okay guys, the mounts just came and so did the rain. It's just starting to spit out. Okay, this is the kit here. One's marked drivers, one's marked passenger. There's drivers, there's passenger. Comes with all the bolts. So these 4 bolts for the engine mount right here. They are these 4 right here. And they give you these little flush mounted bolts to go in there like that. So once you get that mounted, then you take your engine mount, or does it go this way? I'll figure it out. No, it must go that way. Okay, so let me put this on the ground here so it's level. Okay, then you can put your mount. See how those 3 line up? 1, 2, and you move it over here, 3, 4 different positions. See, so you can actually mount it pretty close to where the original one is, a couple inches over. So that's what we need to do to see where we want it. So we're going to put this passenger one, and this is the one with the problem of it most likely hitting the AC, which I think it will. That may tuck up under there. I'll screw around. Well, what? We're gonna do the driver's side first. But just put that plate on there and see where the engine mounts on this. We have enough room to go forward. See the old pan to the cross member. What do we got there? Probably, 4 or 5 inches. We can move this whole thing 4 or 5 inches over. We got room on the cross member to move it. We may do that. It's got quite a bit of distance between the transmission and the firewall. Hopefully enough. This side's lower than the other. The other side is up higher. So the more forward we put it, the more room we're going to have from the firewall not hitting the transmission. And we'll give this more space so we can use this mount here. Okay, because right now it's not gonna fit. It's gonna hit this plug. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll undo the cross member and move that the next couple inches more forward. So we'll move this whole engine transmission forward a few inches. So we'll do that, then we'll do the driver's side, then mess with the passenger side, and try to make it fit with that AC compressor on there. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay guys. Got this motor mount on. You can see the plate here, then the mount here, and it slides on top of there. Okay, this side, I had to cut the end off because of it was getting into the AC. Let me get out. Okay. So I had to cut this end off here because it was hitting this AC compressor. So I got the 4 bolts in there, and then the motor mount here. Kind of got it marked with masking tape from the other side. It'll go right there, and it'll just barely clear that little electrical connection. So I'll go there and then mount on there. I moved the whole thing ahead a couple inches. The next spot over on that cross member that I showed you. Still got. See, it's closer. The old pan's closer to the cross member. Okay. The only thing is, I'm not sure when it drops all the way down whether this pulley's going to hit this. Once it drops down all the way, it might. Now we're going to have to figure a way of propping that engine up so it doesn't hit. That's why I got all them washers and stuff. But let me get both these on there and set her down in there, and we'll see where it sits. It may sit a little too far down, but I'll be back. Okay guys, it's been quite the battle here trying to get these motor mounts lined up. I had this side in first. Of course, these bolts were too long, so I got 2 lug nuts there. I don't put the nut on the end here. This was against the frame, but I loosened everything up on both sides. I cannot get the driver's side in. Couldn't, no matter what. I couldn't. And this one was hard enough to get in, to get that bolt lined up. So what it needed to do was this needed to come up a little bit. That's the only way that bolt hole would fit in there. The bolt would fit in the bolt hole. So I extended the, do I have a nut on these? Yeah. See here, I just put the hole here, and then the bolt and a big washer for the 2 bottom ones and this one. Of course, this is in the way. So I'm going to put them in best I can, tighten them up best I can, and then just weld it along here. And if you notice, this thing had a weld right here, like they had welded in these mounts before on this car. So something's not quite lined up. So anyway, I'm fixing to tighten everything up, and then put a couple of welds here. I'm going to tighten the other side up first, and then push this down as far as I can. Just whack it with a hammer a little bit, get it as far down as I can. Okay, but that's pretty much the way it's going to sit right there. Lots of room between the firewall and transmission, because after we do this, we're going to set the body down back on the frame, tighten up them. I do have some body mounts right here left over. May use them. I'll need probably 2 of them for the radiator support, but may use 2 up front here. Okay, so that's the way it's going to sit. It's going to clear the power steering here, so that's going to clear. When I get everything bolted in, I'm going to show you the steering against the oil pan. These wires are they kind of go in this little clip here, but I'm going to kind of zip tie that one on there, and then this one kind of wraps around right here. I'm going to try to get that out of the way of the steering so it can go all the way to the oil pan without hitting that wire. So we got enough clearance there. It's not hitting the oil pan. We're just worried about this going over and hitting this, which I don't think it will. Okay, then the oil pan, that's how low it sits right there. So gonna have to live with that. There's still quite a bit of distance between that on the floor. I'll put a measuring tape on it here after I'm done, but you know, somebody posted that their Camaro, you put it in there and it was 3 inches from the ground. Well, this is a lot more than 3 inches. 3 inches would be dangerous, but Camaros, and like my Nova, they sit a lot lower, and this one sits up pretty high. I could even put taller tires on it than I have on here. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. So okay, well, let me get all that tightened up and I'll be back. Okay guys, I got all that bolted in. I didn't have any black spray paint, just some black primer. So yeah, I put 3 washers and bolts like that, welded it there, 1 weld at the bottom. Now I still got to tighten this bolt here and change that 1 spark plug out there. Okay, so I got the tires turned all the way this way, and here's the, it's about 1 inch from hitting it. And then I turn it the other, it doesn't turn easy. I gotta use a, hang on, I'll use this. Get here. Okay, turning it the other way. Now the only problem, it's got the transmission lines here and these 2 bundles of wires. They were actually hanging down here with a little holder, but I took all them off and zip tied them up as close as I could get them up here. So it's just barely going to hit this loom here. That's all the way there. Right there, that's all the way. Barely rubs it. I don't think I can get that wire up any tighter unless I take off the transmission lines and stuff, which I may have to, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I think it'll just hit that loom. So anyway, yeah, it's not hitting the oil pan, so I think we're safe on that. I mean, it's barely touching it. It's not going to do no damage to it or nothing. That's all the way that way. The other way, like I showed you, it's barely hits. Okay, so that's in there. I was kind of worried about it hitting. It's got just enough space around the oil pan on the engine cradle, because I thought about raising it up, which I could probably do it, but it'd just be a lot more work. So the other side, it's got room all the way around here, but this one I didn't notice it till I put it in there, that these 2 transmission lines are right in there. I don't know if they're, I don't think they're pinched. They're really snug. I may have to do something about that later. I have to keep my eye on it once it's running and stuff, and see if this thing starts vibrating and stuff. I may have to cut them and redo them or something. But anyway, yeah, this is how far it is here below the cross member. I showed you that. The transmission mount, I'm going to tighten them up. They are right in the middle of the slot. So I'm going to tighten them up. I can raise this forward. I mean, I could raise it up if I wanted to see if it takes any tension off them lines. I think we got enough room up here. You got a vent line and a wiring harness going over right at the back, because I'm fixing to lower the body back down, and we'll see how much room there is here. So that's what I'm gonna do next, is lower the body. I'm gonna put a little Porter 15 up here. Couldn't get in here. And lower the body down, put in the 4 body bolts, body mount bolts, and we'll see how it looks from there. Look on the firewall. It's got a lot of clearance there. It should be all right, but you know, you never know. Okay, so yeah, I think she's all set mounting wise. So I'll just start. Well, let me get the body done, then we'll come back and show you. Hook up some ground wires. Got the vacuum right here for the this is for the cruise control. I don't know if I'm gonna hook that up yet or not. We'll hook up this, power brakes. We'll hook up some stuff like that. Oh, we're gonna test the manifolds. Yeah, it had, these 2 wires were down there, but they were in the way of the motor mount. They're actually down on that hole down there. So I raised them up to here. There was nothing there. I used that to pull the engine. So we put the grounds there, cleaned them all up, sanded them down. Yeah, we're gonna put on the manifolds and see how much clearance we got. That's why I need to pull the body down first. I ordered headers. I don't know how good they're going to be or they're going to fit. They said they were for an S10 conversion, but their comments were it's a universal thing and they fit in anything pretty much. And some guy put it in his 55 and all this stuff. So we're going to see if they fit. They were $93. Well, plus tax, I think it was 97 bucks. And they came with the deals there for the collectors there, so you can weld on a pipe, and they came with holes for O2 sensors and all that stuff. I don't think it came for this EGR, came with the EGR thing, but I don't know. I might look it up and see if I can just delete this. I just didn't want to mess with the computer if it screws it up. Okay, so let me do that. Let me put the body on the frame, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, got the body mounted back to the frame. Changed out a couple of bolts, a couple of rubber things there that were shot. Plenty of room. Probably can't see too good. Plenty of room between the tunnel and the transmission. Lots of room there. That's because, you know, we kind of got the motor more forward than it probably should be because of the compressor, but that's okay. We got the core support. It's going to go here. And like I said in the very first video, I'm a big believer in leaving this fan on. Leaving the factory fan on instead of electrical ones, but if you can have electrical ones, just use them as backup. Always have this fan on there, even though, you know, you take it off and it saves 7.2 horsepower or gains 7.2 horsepower or whatever, but I want that on there. So I'm going to set the core support in here. Well, probably tomorrow. It's starting to get dark. And I have that aluminum radiator, but this radiator out of the truck is good. And the truck has 2 extra water hoses here and here instead of the more common bottom and top. Okay, this will fit, but you have to cut off this mounting thing here, right here, and it'll fit in the core support. With a little bit of work. It's got a little different mounting at the bottom, but we can make it work. So I had a sponsor a while back that sent me a free, well, whatever I wanted from their aluminum radiator is what they sell mainly, Alloy Works. They got aluminum radiators. Most of them come with dual fans if they fit. If they're too short on a car, then they don't come with them. So they sent me a free one to do a video for my 74 Ventura, GTO Ventura based. You have to order it for a Ventura. GTO is an optional. Perfect timing. They just sent me another email and says, do you need any more radiators or anything? So I said, well, as a matter of fact, I do. So they're going to send me, I think, I told them that they should verify it here in a few days at the most. They're going to send me an aluminum radiator just like this, all aluminum with the exact, and I ordered it for a 2001 Silverado with those on there. But if you don't have them on there, let's put this, and we're going to use this AC condenser also, because we're going to hook up the 134A stuff. There's these little T's and stuff. I don't want to take all the hoses. These are 2 heater hoses here. And then there's some hoses that go into the overflow. They also sell overflows, so maybe I'll get one of them. They're maybe smaller or something. So we got these here that, I don't know, I think this one goes in the overflow, but they got T's off of them and stuff. So you can buy these T's. I think this is the top and this is the bottom, but they got these T's you can buy to do away with these extra ones, so you can just use a 2 hose radiator. So it was no big deal anyway. I could probably use the other aluminum radiator that I have that a friend gave me. It's supposed to be for a Corvette, but it doesn't match it. I don't know what it's from, but it'll fit in here and it's new. But if they're gonna send me a free one for showing it in the video, I'll just use that. So it comes with 2 electric fans on it. Okay, so I don't see a problem with it, even though I got the engine more forward. We'll line up the core support there on that radiator and see how much room we got. There ain't nothing I can do about it if it don't fit, unless just take off the electric fans. But I don't think they take up much room. So anyway, that'll be coming up. We'll get that on there. We got a lot more stuff to do, but we got that to do. This little stuff, like I said, this is for the cruise control. We're not sure if we're going to use, if we use the column for the truck, which I'm kind of 50-50 on now. I'm not sure if I can fit it or not. Then we're going to use that, because all you do is just plug it in, and I got the plug for it. Then boom, we got cruise control. If I use the stock column, then it's going to be a little bit more of a problem. I might be able to get it to work though. I might be able to hook up some type of button, take it off that column and hook it somewhere. So yeah, we got cruise control. It's got the wire for the accelerator. I'm not sure if I got to take the gas pedal off the 2001 Silverado to hook this up, but the bracket is welded. The bracket that the gas pedal mounts to is welded to the floor. It's part of the floor. So I'd have to sawzall it off or cut it off and weld it to the floor of this one in the exact position and drill a hole and get this in the firewall. Okay, so we got plenty of room back here between the firewall and the transmission, so nothing gets all kinked up. We got wires and hoses here. Here's for the power brake. I put them on there. We're not going to worry too much about the original harness. That's really just going to work for the lights. Everything else should work off the truck harness, unless I use a separate starter switch, and I'll just have to hook the starter wires up. But if we don't, I don't even need, this is only good for headlights and signals. Yeah, that's about it. I did put that spark plug in there, so if anybody reminds me, I already put that in there. The manifolds, I put the manifolds up on there. So I got the spark plug wire something's disconnected. I put this on there, and sure enough, like that one guy mentioned, this hits the frame. Both sides, drivers and passenger. So if we're to use these, even though I got the headers coming, hopefully they'll fit better than this. If not, we're going to have to slice off something here. The driver's side, I didn't want to force it, but it hits right where this brake line is, which I can move these brake lines up and tuck them in, but it hits right in here. Pretty sure it's going to hit too. So if the headers don't fit at all, then we're going to have to grind the edges off these manifolds, because I'm not spending $250, $300 on a different set of headers. I just bought the cheap ones. If they don't fit, I could sell them or keep them. Okay, so that's what we got going on now. I'm going to tighten up the 2 transmission bolts. Pretty sure that's where they're going to go. It looks like the rear end is... I had this problem with my Chevelle for some reason. I don't know how good you can see that. It's getting dark. It looks kind of okay, but in my '69 Chevelle, I built it because it just came in buckets of parts, and I put the whole thing together, and the yoke was pointing down, and I was like, oh, you know, why is that? And it was way off from the drive shaft to the transmission. So I bought the adjustable upper trailing arms. Right up, they mount to the pumpkin thing there. So I may have to buy 2 for this, even if it's just a little bit off, just so I can adjust it perfectly. I don't want it to be off a little bit. And somebody said, you can cut your own drive shaft and weld it. No, I'll have to send it out, because I want it perfectly balanced. I want everything perfect. This thing's going to be doing, you know, not necessarily on the highway over 100, but on the drag strips, it's probably going to be up there 100, 120 miles an hour. And you don't want that shaking, being out of whack, going down a quarter-mile track. So it's got to be perfect. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to have to go to some mechanic shops around here and see who they use to cut and balance drive shafts, and I'd rather send it out to a place that's got the equipment to do it, balance it perfect and all that. So that'll be coming up. We got a lot of other stuff to do besides that, but maybe next, well, it's a holiday, maybe next week we can send that out. So and we can't fire it up without manifolds or headers on it, so I gotta wait for the headers at least to wired up, and just to see it running and stuff, see how much it shakes, see how much I want to make sure it should shake it all, but you don't know. We got really low clearance here. It's another thing, we got to figure out how to hook up this power steering, because it's metric, whereas the factory Chevelle ones, they're all bent, and they're bent right at the right where they bolt in there. So I'm gonna have to get some new lines of these, and then you have to kind of splice them into the newer ones off the truck, the metric ones. And then of course this power steering has got the cooler on it, which I don't know if you really need it or not, but we might as well use it if I can figure it out, get the right connections and adapters and all that crap. We got that. I'm gonna put that over here. Yeah, right here. We got 3 lines here. Okay, so here's the overflow with the 2. See, the overflow has got this on there, then the big one. I think it's got another one. We could probably use that. I can't see them being much smaller aftermarket. We could probably make this one work. You have that to put on, and we got the AC. That's going to be a real hassle. I'm probably going to try to get an aftermarket air cleaner because we don't really need all this crap here. But we need to make sure, I believe, the mass airflow sensor here. And then there's a connection. I thought there was a connection on this box too. Maybe not. But yeah, we'll try to do away with all that. I'll look around and see if I can get. But I don't really want. I want to get one where it's going to be sucking in cold air, not just sitting there with that big filter right on the engine, sucking in all the hot air. But anyway, we got to do that too. Okay, so that's probably going to be it for tonight. I might mess around a little bit more, and then tomorrow we'll get on it. We'll try to get out some of this stuff hooked up, get ready for the headers. I don't know exactly when they're going to be in, a couple days. Should maybe this video we can get it running and stuff, but for now I'm going to start cleaning up stuff. Somebody asked about painting the engine. No, I'm not going to paint it or nothing. I'll probably get under there and clean some more grease and gunk and stuff on there, and spray some degreaser, and then later on we'll just pressure wash it all. But no, I'm not going to clean it up and paint it and all that. I'm not going to spend the time on that. It's not going to show car. It's going to be driven thousands and thousands of miles, so it's just going to get dirty. It's not some trailer queen show car. Worried about this front suspension here. She don't move. She just don't get up there, and it's just stiff as can be. So I don't know what's if somebody mentioned I got the wrong A-frames. I don't know. So anyway, I'll be back tomorrow and we'll go over some more stuff. Okay guys, I just went to Walmart, got some cheap oil, transmission fluid. I usually get synthetic, but they didn't really have what I wanted. I usually buy the SuperTech brand Walmart that's full synthetic, but they didn't have it for some reason. So I got this with $17.99. That full synthetic SuperTech used to be $13.99, so it's gone way up. Well, they had it, but it had zero. I've never heard of this before. You know, like 10W30 has zero W30 and 0 W20. I don't even know what 0 means. So anyway, I just got the old 10W30 for all mileage. But before we do a big trip next year, most likely, we'll go ahead and do a full oil change with synthetic and the good stuff. But for now, just to get it running and messing around with it, that's what we need, because right now it's got it's full of oil, which is a good sign that it doesn't use any, but it's pretty dirty. It's black, so they weren't very good on maintenance, but at least it's full, so I don't think it's going to leak or burn anything. It's got a little cheap filter here, $4. Got the that's the other U-joint I went to pick up, the drive shaft. And who knew that they had two different filters and gaskets. They're both 16 bolt transmission pans, but one's shallow and one's deep. Well, I didn't know what I had, so I don't know whether the guy guessed at this one. So this one don't work. I got to return it, get another one. And then I got some got that at AutoZone, and then this stuff here I got at Walmart. So anyway, let me get to working on that. I meant to measure. I'm gonna measure from the bottom, from the ground to the bottom of the oil pan, then the ground to the bottom of the differential, and I actually think they're probably going to be about the same. So you know, how often do you bottom out on the differential? Not unless you're on some hairy Jeep trails with lots of rocks. So I'm not going to worry about that oil pan being sticking below the cross member. But I'll measure it, give you guys an exact measurement, the front and back. Okay, I'll be back. Hey guys, I got this tree here that has this useless stuff called horse apples that my dog just loves to chase. Ready, pup? You gonna drop that apple? You gonna drop that one? Anyway, cats are starting to, they kind of chase them, but they don't. Well, sometimes they chase them. Anyway, I'll be back. Playtime. From the ground to the top of the oil pan, 7 1/4 inches. The rear end, 6 1/4. So the front's an inch higher than the rear. So there's nothing to worry about hitting anything in the road. These are 16-inch rims, 225/60 16s. But they're probably not going to be the rims on here. I'll probably get rally rims, but I'm not sure yet. I'll probably go a little bit bigger. And of course the back, these are the biggest 16s you can get. That's why I'm going with 15s, because I can get wider ones. This is 245/50 16, and you can go up to 275. I'll be getting 275/60 15s. So they'll be, I don't know, an inch or two taller in the back actually. So might put the rear end above the front oil pan. But anyway, just so you guys know the stats. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, as for all the few guys out there that said they want to see the work being done. Okay, I'm gonna change the oil. This probably ain't gonna come off easy. Nope. Do everything one-handed. We really torqued that on there. Okay, here she comes. And like I said, it was full, but she's gonna be black. A little bit of water in there from being rained on. Yeah, she's I don't know if I gotta wait for that to drain before I do the oil filter. Got the oil filter wrench here. Okay, that one's coming off okay. Trying trying to see the brand of it. Quaker State. Quaker State, so yeah, it's probably one of them Jiffy Lube type places. That's probably the best I can do because the jack's in the way. So yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Ooh, she's getting overfilled. Always a messy job. Okay, I'm gonna clean that up a little bit, put the plug in, and I'll be back. Okay guys, new filter on there. Make sure you fill it with oil. Rub a little oil around the seal and tighten her up, not too tight. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna degrease under here. Got a mosquito in my mouth. Yeah, I'll do that later. Anyway. Okay, the oil. Guess I should have looked at it. It takes 5W30. And it's probably in there to take another quart. But I do got some more. I got some half gallons of new oil around here somewhere. But like I said, this is the so we're just gonna fill it up. These LS engines, just a little info, they come out in 97, mostly in the Camaros, Trans Ams, Corvettes. That's when they were redesigned. And those engines have aluminum blocks that come in the cars. In the trucks, they're iron blocks, but aluminum heads too. And the weight difference between a steel block and aluminum block is 75 pounds. So 75 pounds ain't no big deal. That's you know, I heard that from the driveway engineer, because he was saying all these people were just hunting around for these aluminum blocks as it's 75 pounds lighter. Big deal, you know. So anyway, that's that. I got the dipstick tube out of it. It's over here. I had to take that off with the for the exhaust manifold. But anyway, I'll put another quart in it later on. At least we got some new stuff in there. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, she's pretty black. And remember, dispose of your oil properly. Don't be like me and throw it on the weeds to kill them, or else, you know, Greta will have a conniption fit.
How dare you?
Okay guys, started putting together the front pieces here. Got the radiator support. Everything's just kind of temporary. And I know I got the wrong things on here, but this bolt, I don't know what happened to the original ones, but these ones here are off the Silverado, and that's as far as it only threaded down a little bit, so I just kind of, anyway, kind of set that in there temporarily, the radiator in there temporarily. It's got these two big things that go. I'm gonna have to drill some holes, because we're gonna wait on, see if I can get that new aluminum one, which will be identical to this, and then we'll set that down so it'll sit down a couple inches, which will make this flush against here, so we can put on the shroud, or the whatever it is, a little metal thing here, and then we just got to cut these off. So I kind of got that on there. Kind of got the, I'm going to go down and get new hoses. These are the two heater hoses here. And as you can see, they're both the same size. So, and they won't fit. They're a little bit too short. And I want to replace all the hoses anyway, or most of them. So we're going to get this one here. We're going to get 3 feet of that, a little bit longer, so that'll connect up. But this one goes into this T-junction here. So I think we're just going to cut that right in here, get 1.5 feet or something, and then see if they make an adapter from big to small hoses. If not, I'll jam a regular one in there. Okay, so we'll get them. I'm gonna run down this afternoon, get those two hoses and the bottom and the top radiator hoses here. This clips on top of the shroud, and the shroud actually fits. You put the shroud on there, it actually fits without hitting anything. We're not sure if we're going to use the shroud yet, because the new fan's going to have 2 electric fans right here. Okay, I just kind of stuck the air cleaner on there. There wasn't an electric connection here, it's only right here. And then it's got this is just a little air cleaner reset button. And then there's electrical connection underneath the overflow. I just kind of set the overflow on there. Goes into this hose. And then this, I think this goes from the throttle body right to here. And then the 2 transmission lines. So yeah, you can do away with these if you wanted to. If you just had a radiator that didn't have these, you don't need them. So anyway, I just kind of taped this up here so it wasn't flopping around. We're just going to connect everything the way it was in the truck and then get it running. And then disconnect stuff, you know. Because if you disconnect and cut a whole bunch of stuff and then go to start it and it don't start, you don't know what's wrong. You don't know where to begin trying to figure out what you did wrong. So that's why we're going to connect everything the way it was in the truck and start it up, make sure it runs good, and then slowly take shit off. Like we'll put on an aftermarket air cleaner. Hopefully it's got the mass airflow sensor thing in there, so we plug that in there. These are for the these are for the AC lines, but these 2 are for the O2 sensors. We'll be getting the headers in 2 days. So next video we'll put on the headers. Hopefully they fit. Figure out what we're going to do with this EGR. I'll do some research. Another reason why I don't want to just disconnect that and leave it, because it may not start or run shitty, and then you don't know if it's disconnected or something you cut. So we want everything connected the way it was in the truck. Okay, the AC condenser. Here's the factory one here. It mounts there. Yeah, there, and there. And we're going to try to figure out the truck one to fit in. We're going to have to cut some holes here. Hole there, the bottom one might be okay. Anyway, I got to tuck it up underneath this deal, and then I'll probably put on the brace here that goes here. Put that together so make sure we're not interfering with this. That's not necessary though to get it running, but it's got to go on eventually anyway. And then we don't know if this is too tall or too short until I put on a fender. I might put on a fender just to see, and then we can tighten that up and be done with it. It's kind of tight, but okay. So I'm gonna end this video here. So this is all gonna be done on the next video. We got to do the accelerator cable, drill a hole, connect to the gas pedal. Trying to get all that stuff done, and then we'll start with this wiring here. We'll spread it out connect the column up, connect the fuel pump, gas tank from the truck up, and see if she runs. I don't see no reason why it wouldn't. Oh, we got to do the power steering too. I'll figure that out. See if I got some of these lines from another car. Maybe that old Pontiac has it. If not, I'll have to buy new lines and figure out the power steering cooler. I think it went underneath here and then connected up in here. I'll figure that out. Just trying to get everything connected so when we start it, nothing leaks. Power steering won't leak. Transmission lines won't leak. Stuff like that. I tried to take the transmission pan. It's got a drain plug on it. But it's got a drain, but it's stripped. It's on there so friggin' tight that it's stripped. And then I tried vice grips. I can't get it. You can do it the old-fashioned way and just undo all the bolts and let it all splash down, but I was trying to get that drain plug out. But we'll do that later. No big rush on that. There's the O2 sensors here for the, we'll get them out of the way. Probably take off this for the shifter. We're not gonna, I don't think, well, we don't know yet. Okay, so yeah, they take off the drive shaft and send it out next video. Make sure we got that engine situated where we want, where just in case we got to move it again, but I don't think we do. 99% sure she's going to sit right there, but just in case. Want everything perfectly situated before we send that drive shaft off. I've heard of so many people, they send it out and they cut it wrong and they got to get it shortened again. We're going to do this once, send it out and be done with it. Okay, yeah, that'll all be coming up in next video. So this one's getting pretty long, and it's in like flint. It's in there. So the next video, hopefully we'll get it running. We'll start replacing, like I said, all these hoses and stuff, and I don't know when the radiator's going to get here, but the headers will be here. We'll definitely get them on there and start on the exhaust. I'm going to look around, see if I can get some side pipes. I looked a while back and it's like put in side pipes on eBay and nothing comes up. It's like, does nobody make side pipes anymore? I mean, what the hell? I'll see if I can get some. If not, we're just gonna have to do the old do-it-yourself kit from eBay for $100. Comes with the X pipe. I put it on my Chevelle and it sounds badass. We may do that. Something anyway. We'll figure out the exhaust. We can start it up with the open headers, no problem. But the exhaust will be coming up too. So next video, yeah, we should be able to get it running and start with all that, putting it all together. And getting her all ready, decide if we're going to use the truck column or not, see if that might work. I got a few other little problems that I might encounter doing that, but okay, so yeah, I think that's it. Slowly, I don't know what other parts we got here. Oh, the fuel lines, we're going to set up the fuel lines. I don't see any problem with the fuel lines coming down around the transmission. It's just when it gets into this section here, it's going to be a problem. But we got a bender. These are flexible. Anyway, we'll figure that out. See if we can use it. Hopefully we can. Get some AC stuff put in there. That'll probably be last, getting the AC working. But start cutting off this stuff here that we don't really need. Okay, so subscribe if you haven't. We're rolling along here. We're getting closer and closer every video. She'll be running here in no time. Hopefully next video. And then I don't know when it's going to be completely finished where it'll be drivable, but that'll be in the future. Okay, so yeah, like, comment, share, all that stuff, and we'll see y'all next video. Thanks everybody for watching.